There's this concept called the curse of knowledge, which is the idea that once we know something, once we get an insight, especially when that constitutes a fundamental paradigm shift, it can be hard to imagine how it feels not to know it, which makes communicating about that thing very challenging. So, in the light of the curse of knowledge, and for somebody that may have no idea what we're speaking about, I want to ask you, when the thought of not enoughness comes up, what do you do?
There's a certain amount of resisting that I've done, especially for what in the past I would have called negative emotion. Before recently, I guess, is the best way to say it. I pushed up against what I would have called negative emotion or like experiences that I felt like were not okay. So maybe anger or sadness or not enoughness or whatever I put into a box and said, hey, I don't love feeling this way.
Yeah.
These aren't okay for me to feel. I'm not okay if I'm in these emotions and these experiences. And yet, I feel like we're all here to have all those. We're here to have every experience of life, especially, and you can see it in young kids, they allow it all. Every experience is allowed. They go from screaming down the street, having the most fun you could ever imagine. And all they can do is like scream and run, right? To having a meltdown of huge proportions. And they move through it. They allow it all. They don't hold on to it and say, no, I don't want to feel this way. They just allow it. And to a certain extent, when I started to allow, it included this feeling of not enoughness. And if I found myself in a moment that was uncomfortable in that feeling or another feeling, I really found a lot of value in asking myself, okay, can I be in this? And sometimes the answer was like, hell no, I don't want to be in this. I do not like this. I do not want to be this. But the more I was willing to be in that question, knowing that it's temporary, like, can I just be here? Can I just feel this and allow this to move through? Because it is always temporary. No matter what story we've got about how long it might last, or will this ever end, or, all the thought we add to our experience, whatever it is. Something about just being willing to be in that space and let it move through.